Hello, friends. It is another installation day. Clearly, it is obviously raining here in Seattle, surprise of the century, but we are working on a commercial property today. This is a lovely developer that I know that I think is wonderful. And he's the one who did Midtown, and he's that conscious developer that is just really doing some intentional things out here to brighten up this city. So we are at a new project. And this project is a very modern building. There's some retail on the first floor, there's some restaurants, and then above is all apartments and city living. It is awesome. However, he loves bringing warmth and color to his properties. So I am bringing in containers. I have decided to go with a metallic finish because a lot of times when you do these modern buildings, you need some of that handmade quality to brighten it up. And so I'm going to show you the eclectic mixture of shapes that I've brought in. Okay, I'm going to give you the lay of the land and walk you through the project. Here we are. These are the coppery finish. It's like a copper bronze, super metallic. But what you can see is there's a lot of concrete, a lot of black, and then we do have this beautiful wood awning here. And so bringing in something that has this metallic sheen, it just livens up the whole thing. It marries the metal with the warmth of the wood. So I've brought in 5 of these to accent kind of opening areas as well as bike racks. Okay, it's a little hard to see up there, but going up on the top, we've just staged some things because we're getting ready to tie off. I will not be getting on this roof. My dear friends at Brightscape will be because they've got the ladders and they've got the safety equipment. So we're all, OSHA safe. And what we have going up there is a cornice. This is Midwinter Fire. I love this one. It starts out orange at the base and then gets red at the tips. I have a Carrix going in here called Cappuccino. It is so cute because that depth of texture is going to look really, really good against the cornice. And then I also have some lemon cypress going in up top. All of this, of course, will be paired with bright, bright violas so that when you are looking down on these rooftops, you just have a great sense of color because check this out. They have planned this community where you have apartments going all the way across and they all look down on these entrances. So having something beautifully bright up there is going to be really important. As you can see across the way there is some Mahonia soft cress already planted up there, but it isn't giving the height and the drama just yet. And do you see, I don't know if you can even see this. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. We've already placed a few Carrix on this side, and it's already that bronze movement is already just amazing. I want to zoom in close and show you this one. We have these beautiful Sarcococa centerpieces. Oh my God, say that 10 times fast. But you can see what they did is they did the bunny ears move. And this is pretty typical. So they have 2 holes here. They had Liriope on either side. Liriope is a beautiful plant, but she doesn't belong in a pot. At least not 2 of them like this. And so I've pulled them. We're adding, of course, our fertilizer. You can see down in there, they've actually run Netafim drip line around the perimeter of the pot. And so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to fill it with potting soil because what I'm also noticing is they've used a barky compost mixture, which simply won't hold the moisture for a container. Okay, these are the entrances to each of these units on the ground floor. And what I think is so lovely is they want to just brighten up this whole area. So we've gone with a mixture of violas and pansies. This is viola, penny yellow, and then this is white with blotch. And I've decided to go with this modern scheme of purples, whites, and texture. As you all know, every time I install a new container, I always put a drainage taco in the bottom. If you have not, or some person was like, I feel like it's more of a drainage burrito. So you do you. Drainage taco, drainage burrito. This is how it's done. Essentially, you lay one end of your tortilla, your taco shell, down into your container. And then right here, I just usually use either rocks from around my landscape if I'm at my house, or I will have an extra bag of rocks that I keep in my van. But you are going to layer river rock, big round rocks, over each drainage hole. Now I know I've got one on this side and I've got one over here closer on this side towards me. So I just pile them around the drainage holes. I'm not worried about filling the entire basin of this with like 2 inches of drain rock. That just isn't necessary in my opinion. And then take the other side of your tortilla, lay it down, and there you have it, drainage taco. So water's gonna flow through freely. Soil is not going to wash out as heavily, and you still make sure that those drain holes are clear so you don't end up with a giant pot of water on your hands. You guys, I'm such a dum-dum sometimes. I have been looking for the centerpieces for this container and the kind of coordinated one for the other side. You know where it is? It's up there. I literally forgot. I told all the guys to throw all the rest of them up on top of that roof. So now I gotta go get two. Can I get this to you? Okay, that is looking absolutely fabulous. We are moving on to the next tower, and so we are just gonna reel in those ropes. Call it a day. So while I was up on the roof barking out orders to these lovely people who are helping me, actually that was like a super fun process. It's such like a bird's eye view, and kind of spoiler, I'm actually gonna be teaching a class on container geometry. So look for details of that coming up soon, but that's going to be for the Great Girl Along. And it was so fun to like instruct people with that container geometry mindset. So anyways, back to containers here. I'm going with a palette of white, cream, purple, and yellow for just some vibrancy. And so while I was upstairs, Senta, my assistant, got all of my centerpieces installed, which is so awesome. And now I'm going to place product for her to get in. We'll tag team it, but I may have to go up to that other roof if the guys get done soon. So all that to say, we're going heavy texture. I want these to feel contemporary and vibrant because this is a very vibrant young community. So to tie in my rooftop plantings, I've opted for one of my centerpieces to be a cornice. You know I love sticks in a pot. This one is Cornice Midwinter Fire. It's a really, really lovely one. I like that the Cornice Midwinter Fire gives me essentially 2 different colors within these sticks. Up here, I have used a Taxus fastigiata. This is just your classic Irish yew. To go with my darker centerpiece, I want to bring in a lot of that creamy white. And so I'm actually going to bring in a euphorbia. This one is, oh gosh, I just threw away the tag. It's Tasman Tiger. And this one is a Fatsia Spider's Web. I've opted for these under this cover. It stays a little bit warmer. It's a little bit more protected. So just, you can tell right now, this is already gorgeous. Probably the only thing I'll do is maybe add like a beautiful trailer out the front. This is an ivy called Calibri. Really interesting, almost like a curled leaf. So real texture on texture here. And then I may pop in a little bit of chartreuse. I may pop in a little bit of yellow. And then I have this pansy. It is a white, gosh, what is this? Oh, it has a tag. Pro White with Blotch. And I feel like this just ties the whole thing together. So this I feel like is in pretty good shape. I'm gonna hold off for a second on my color. Also, what's kind of cool about this complex here is they actually have workrooms right behind me. So this is one of those situations where like, yes, technically this is the front, but I'm also going to add some florals along the back so it stays really interesting for everyone working inside. Coming down here, this is where I actually want to bring in one of my other favorites. I'm going to bring this guy in. This is a Senecio called Angel Wings. Again, I like to use this bigger Angel Wings under protected areas during the winter because it just does a little bit better for me. The other thing I'm kind of thinking here, so I'm actually thinking this Lacothaway would be really pretty. And what else do I got here? I may come in here. Actually, that heuchera feels a little bit too much. But that euphorbia is pretty darn good. I actually pulled a bunch of liriope out here, and I'm going to repurpose it in this pot. And I'm going to tell you why it didn't make sense down there, but here, now she makes sense. So when it was down in that pot down there, first of all, it was planted incorrectly. It was planted high. Second of all, they were planted like little antenna, little bunny ears. And so it was like this weird shape. It felt awkward. However, here, now look at this. What I was missing was a deep green leaf. Now I can have my Lacothaway, I can have my gorgeous liriope, and then we can give it some friends here like this chartreuse. And now it makes sense. Now it feels like it's at the right party. It has like the right friends to create this container together. You know, as I'm playing with color, one thing I'm noticing in here is I actually really liked the yellow up here with all of these whites versus down here, I'm actually liking the white because I get the yellow coming through in the sticks. So this is feeling really lovely. It's feeling modern. It also, you know what, the other thing I like that I brought back in the liriope because now it ties it back to the landscape, which is so fundamental. I always want to tie my containers into two things. Number one, the people who live here. Now, this energy is modern, it's eclectic, it's like very vibrant, but then I also want to tie it back to the place where we are. So bringing a liriope in ties it to the landscape down below. Bringing my cornice in ties it to the landscape that is literally up above. So all in all, I am pleased as punch. Okay, this one is ready. I'm going to move on to setting my next container, and Senta is going to follow behind, and she's going to get all these beautiful things tucked in. So I'm over here at the other entry, and I'm going to be doing this container, and I'm going to be doing them in a very similar fashion. So same color palette, different kind of eclectic mixture. A couple things. Our Fatsia Spider's Web is making a comeback. It's going to be over here because it just is so gorgeous in front of my Taxus. However, I'm going to be playing with this Carex. This is a Carex called Cappuccino. This is the same one that I used up on the rooftop. And when you see this next to this container, it's so good. It is so good. This is one of those brown plants that kind of looks dead, but is very much alive and absolutely gorgeous. I am now going to also play with potentially bringing in some of this Senecio. I don't know that I actually like it. I think I like the Carex being front and center. Okay, what I might do then is, oh yeah, okay, that's the ticket. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some of this sweet little heather, this winter blooming heather. I think that's going to be my jam. And I almost wonder if I don't even need that. Oh, I think I do like it. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Loving that. And knowing that right behind me, there's a little work window. I think that's going to go there. And then to balance it, because I've got this nice little trio in the front here, I've got this little sweet Erica here. I think I'm going to put a moss right on this backside. That is perfect. And then that leaves me about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color spots that I'm going to do in a mixture of yellows. Next, I've got this little cutie here. Now, this one I knew that it was going to take up the whole bowl, and I'm kind of okay with that because there's something beautiful about this just being a simple arrangement. The other thing I thought of is I have a spot for some just really, really simple texture. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a trio of textures here. Okay, so you can see I'm creating a relationship here by using my 3 same textures. And then what I'll do is it's off camera here, but I'm going to reach and grab some of my white pansy with blotch. And I'm going to do 3 of the same color pansy, so it's not super duper busy. And then these yellows are going to go up here. By the way, if you were just paying attention, yes, I ripped my moss in half. And it is actually a move I do kind of all the time if I'm planting in a tight space or I want more of like a rectangular piece of moss instead of a nice little square. Literally, rip it in half. They're so flexible. Okay, I am just about wrapped up and out of here, but I want to show you the containers because they turned out so super cute. And also, I'm wearing my new Blundstones today. The Blundstone investment was worth every penny. My toes are completely toasty. I have not been cold all day long. And when you work outdoors, I feel like comfort is 90% of the game. Also, it wasn't like it was the coldest day ever. It's been about 40 degrees, which isn't terrible. But I usually, after 4 hours and 40-degree weather, my toes do start to get cold. Not the case today. Okay, I'm going to spin you around. I want to show you these containers. Okay, I'm really loving how these came together, but honestly, I actually like how the cluster is arranged. I think that is what elevates it. And I think whenever you're doing a set of containers, choosing a little duo here, slightly different shape, keeps it interesting, and then also a very, very tight, considered color palette. So we've got the whites, we've got the deep green, we've got these beautiful cornice twigs. It all came together so, so well. Okay, this is one I did not show me putting in, but this doesn't even photograph as well as it shows in real life. This bronze Carex cappuccino, I think this is one of my new favorite grasses because it is so good with this planter. In fact, I'm actually thinking I'm going to use this cappuccino grass in my display garden this year. It is fantastic. And as usual, just really soft foliage. And this is one of those little things that I'm sure no one pays attention to, but because we are right by an entry, we are right where someone is going to be scanning a key card here for security. I want something soft in case they bump into the arrangement. So, hello, Senecio. And just to keep things interesting, I actually did a matching pair here, and I love how this looked. And again, similar palette of plants, this gorgeous cappuccino grass. I am tickled. And you know what's so fun? I actually feel like this container, it says holiday, but in a really unexpected way. And I also feel like it's going to age really gracefully through Valentine's Day, through spring coming on. And then in May, I will be back for another change out. Okay, this is going to do it for me. I'm going to do a little extra cleanup and then I'm on my way home. I will see you in the next one. And as always, say hello to your garden for me.